Hey everybody, so 2022 is officially almost 1 month in the books, and I have to say it has been a month of amazing titles arriving, and so many books have come out that I cannot wait to read. So here today we're talking about a bunch of new releases that have just come out or are coming out very soon that I am sure you are going to want to read. Get ready for your TBR to explode. Let's get started. Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you all doing today? As always, I hope you're happy, I hope you're healthy, I hope you're safe, and of course I hope you're reading an amazing book or two or three or four. Northern California is in that sort of between winter and spring zone. It is cold. I mean, when I walk my dogs, it's in the 30s in the morning, and the high is probably in the 60s, which I know for some of you is like practically summer, but it is chilly. I have to wear a coat to go outside, but that really means that I've been able to read I have been having a fantastic January reading month. I'm a little all over the place right now. I'm just so excited to talk to y'all. But that being said, so many books have come out to start this year or are coming out in early February that I am so excited to read. Some I've already started, some I've read, and I can't wait to tell you about them. So get out your pen, get out your paper, get out your Goodreads, however you keep track of your TBR. If you are so able, please order these books from your local independent bookstore. I think I'm going to be saying this for as long as I continue to do this channel, and I've been saying it for years to come. The independent bookstores, we need them, they need us. They're a space where us bookish people can go and be inspired, meet new authors, meet new people, and we help keep them together. And speak of bookish places, if you are a library user, get your library to order these books for you. Let's hope that soon we will all be able to congregate again at these locations and bring those communities back in full force, but they need our support even if we cannot do that. So please use them and get ready. So the first book I'm going to tell you about is a little bit of a different type of book for me because I don't believe I've actually talked about a ton of poetry on my channel. But Knopf sent me this book of poems. I'm going to hold it up there. So it's 100 Lovers, poems by Richie Hofman, out from Knopf. Now, I can't really hold the cover up because it may get me in some trouble here on YouTube. But I will say this. I've already started to sort of dive into these poems. They are steamy and sensual and romantic and frank and direct and just absolutely gorgeous. I don't know, but Mr. Richie Hofman may inspire me to read more poetry in 2022. This collection has just been absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to try to hold it up there. And that's 100 Lovers by Richie Hofman, out from Knopf. Highly recommend it if you are a poetry reader. I'm really, really enjoying it. It definitely is it's inspiring language and beauty, and yeah, it's really, really good. So there you go. The next book that I want to tell you about, I'm in between reads, and for those of you that have been around, when I'm done with a book and I want to start a new book, I take a whole stack of books and I start reading like the first 100, maybe 50 pages and dive in. So that's what I did this morning with a number of the books we're discussing today, because I'm getting ready to pick a new book because I just finished one this morning as well. And one of those books that I picked up was When We Lost Our Heads by Heather O'Neill. Now, Heather O'Neill's last book, The Lonely Hearts Hotel, was longlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction, and I read that and I absolutely loved it. I remember it was like this weird dark Victorian circus thing that was going on. I just remember really enjoying it. So I was super excited to hear that she had a new book out. Now, this is set in 19th century Montreal. We have two young women. We have one that comes from a very affluent family, lots of money, gets everything that she wants, but she just really doesn't have a friend, anyone to sort of connect with until this, the book describes her as clever and scheming young woman moves into the neighborhood, and these two young girls become friends. But what happens is that their friendship is very like wrought with tension. Like they love each other, hate each other, but they continue to push each other to do more and more dangerous things. Until at one point, the adults in the world say, you two cannot be together anymore. What's going on is not safe for you. So they separate the girls and they go on. I like the way the book describes it. It says that they engage in acts of alternating innocence and depravity until one day a event occurs that sort of brings them back together and has like mass effect, not only on them, but also the city of Montreal. I started reading this one. I told you that just a few seconds ago. It starts with these two young women with pistols in their hands, about to complete a duel, when a maid who sees them from a window comes running out of a house, running down, and tragedy strikes. So, I mean, that's the first 20 pages of this book, and I was like, okay, Heather O'Neill, what adventure are you taking me on? Super interested. So that's When We Lost Our Heads by Heather O'Neill. This is out from Riverhead. Let's also take a moment for how beautiful this cover is. It's just so gorgeous. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. I need to get more of her backlist actually, because I really have liked everything I've read so far. So let's do that. Marlon James's novel, Black Leopard, Red Wolf, that was out a few years ago. It was shortlisted for the National Book Award. It was a chunkster of a book. And I remember being really nervous to read it. And then I dived in and I loved that book. It was challenging. It had a lot of like time jumps and people and all of this. And it was building this, world building in this fantasy, sort of this African-based fantasy world. And it had queer love. It had a lot of sexuality in it. And I remember just thinking, gosh, I should have read this earlier. Well, now is your chance, because the sequel is coming out, and that's Moon Witch, Spider King by Marlon James, also coming out from Riverhead Books. And this is the story that this continues the story that we learned in book one. So I'm not going to sort of spoil anything from this. I'm also keeping this one really under wraps because I didn't dive right into the first one. Every page was an exciting turn for me. But this is the story of a young woman who, it says here, Sogalan the Moon Witch tells her own story of her life, how she gained power, and what happened in the search for a missing child. If you've read book one, you know that the whole point of that book, or sort of the plot point, was that they are searching for this child that has implications for the whole entire world. And so this is the second book in that series, and I cannot wait. I actually started this one. This was part of my am I going to read it next pile. So that's Moon Witch, Spider King by Marlon James, out from Riverhead Books. Okay. I'm going to say a lot of the books we're going to talk about today are more, like the themes are a little bit more dark, which is kind of on par for me. It's definitely in sort of my wheelhouse. So I apologize. There's not a whole lot of happy, cheerful, but that doesn't mean they're not going to be fantastic, because that's what I like. This book is The Stars Are Not Yet Bells by Hannah Lillith Assadi, and this is also out from Riverhead. I've been very, very blessed lately. Riverhead has sent me a number of amazing books in these beautiful finished copies. I cannot complain. So this book takes place on an island off the coast of Savannah, Georgia. It's sort of near Savannah, Georgia, but it's off the coast. And it starts with this family that moves there in World War II, and sort of the life they build on this island together. So at one point, like, the island is all people that work for our main character is Lyra and her husband. They sort of all work there. But the book starts sort of 50 years later as, the island is named Lyra. Our main character is named Ellie. It's early. I don't normally film videos this early, so my brain is a little bit slow. So it says 50 years later, Ellie looks back on her life on the exotic island and at a secret she herself has guarded for decades. As her memory recedes into the mists of Alzheimer's disease, her life seems a tangle of questions. I started this one and I thought the first 3 chapters were so good. This may be the one that I actually move forward and finish reading today. So that's The Stars Are Not Yet Bells by Hannah Lillith Assadi, out from Riverhead Books. And look at how beautiful, gosh, beautiful covers abound right now. This book came to me, and I want to say I saw it on someone's on Instagram and also their booktube channel. I cannot remember who, but it was a rave. So I was so excited when Grove sent me Tides by Sara Freeman. Now, this book, we're going to talk about it, but I will say, if you are a fan of like Jenny Olaf or Rachel Cusk, or any of those books that are sort of told in like those blurb type of moments. I even think maybe if you liked Patricia Lockwood's new novel, this book will definitely sort of resonate with you. But this is the story of Mara. She flees her family. She leaves her family. She's gone through some immense tragedy. I think we learn what it is. I've read, again, this was in my stock this morning. You learn very early on, something has happened that has caused her to sort of leave her husband, leave her brother and his wife. They have a new baby. That seems to be a point of contention. And she goes and she flees. She takes her passport and she wants to go to the water. And she winds up in this small seaside town, trying to sort of figure out what. She doesn't have a lot of money. What is she going to do? It's tourist season. She can't really get what she wants. As things wrap down, she winds up getting a job at a wine store where she meets someone, and it makes her sort of reassess everything that she's been going through. This book also has like a very poetic feel to it, and it's just like the short chapters really work when you're trying to build a sense of intensity and what's the other word I'm looking for? It's like this sort of hectic momentum. It's really working. So I'm really enjoying this. So this is Tides by Sara Freeman, out from Grove, and you can get your hands on it as we speak. Okay. Next is a book that comes out on February 1st, which is 2 weeks. No, next Tuesday, if you can believe that. And it is a beast of a book, but I am so excited for The Books of Jacob by Olga. And now I listened to an audio where they said this name so beautifully and so easily. And I just, Tokarczuk? That's not right. I can't say it, but I love her so much. I have read both Flights, which was translated by the same translator who translated this, Jenny Croft, who is brilliant. And I've also read The Plow. I can never remember because it's got, it's got like the words. I can never remember what it is. Oh, you know what I mean. Drive your plow over the bones of the dead. I'm sorry. And I absolutely really, really liked both of those. Flights is more, how do you explain it? Flights is more sort of meta, and then Drive Your Plow is more like a standard plotted mystery in a lot of ways. Both are utterly brilliant. Now, this book, one, I want to tell you something I think that's fascinating about this book. This book is page numbered backwards. So it starts on page 950 something. Hold on. Let me see. 965, and then it goes backwards. So as you read the book, the pages go down, which just let's start there. Something about that is so intriguing. But this book takes place in the mid-18th century as new unrest begins to sweep Europe. A young Jew of mysterious origins arrives in a village in Poland. Visited by what's seen to be ecstatic experiences, Jacob Frank casts a charismatic spell. In the decade to come, he and his increasingly fervent followers will crisscross the Habsburg and Ottoman empires as he reinvents himself again and again. He converts to Islam, and then he converts to Catholicism, is a heretic at one moment, hailed as a messiah the next, all amid rumors that his secret sect of rituals and radical beliefs. Now, Frank is actually, I believe, a real person, and so it allows Olga to just sort of do so much with that. Now, this book may take me the rest of the year to read, but Jennifer Croft is a phenomenal translator, so I'm so excited to see what she does with it. Olga is an amazing, amazing storyteller. So maybe I'll read it in blurbs and blogs. Maybe I'll do a whole channel read-along. That's something to think about. Would you be interested in that? Let me know in the comments below. So that's The Books of Jacob by Olga, and I'm going to hold her last name up there. Nobel Prize winner, national, Man Booker International winner. Just all around brilliance. Out from Riverhead Books on February 1st. Okay, now a book that I've actually read, and I've done both the audiobook and read the hardback, and that's I Came All This Way to Meet You, Writing Myself Home by Jami Attenberg. This is a memoir that has just come out. Now, I have to say, this is part of a memoir project I'm going to be doing, and a video is yet to come. But this was the book that inspired that project. I met Jami a couple of years ago for her last novel at a small bookstore in Oakland, California, at East Bay Booksellers, which I absolutely love, and you should support them. They are fantastic. Brad, the owner, is amazing. But in saying so, I met her, and I was just so enamored with her energy and her passion and her humor, and she has the cutest dog on Twitter. So I was so excited to get into this memoir, sort of to figure out a little bit more about her. And this book deals with a lot of really personal topics. It deals with loneliness. It deals with the difference between being alone and being lonely. It also deals with how art and writing gets you through that. And you learn a lot about how Jami's careers and writing and publishing and the ups and downs of that whole industry really can sort of affect the psyche of a person, how you build relationships, how you interact with other people. I just found it absolutely lovely. So that's I Came All This Way to Meet You, Writing Myself Home by Jami Attenberg. And this one is out from Ecco. You can get your hands on it now. I also highly recommend the audiobook. It is very, very good. Okay, last but not least in this pile, and I'm going to tell you, the books are coming in. There's so many amazing books this year. There's going to be a lot of these videos because I'm just so thrilled with 2022. So we are going to go to Diane Chamberlain's The Last House on the Street. This is out from St. Martin's Press, and you can get your hands on it, I believe, right now. Hold on, let me see if it says on this paper. Sometimes they put these little pieces of paper in to help me out, and, oh, you know, I don't know. When does this book come out? It is out already. You can get your hands on it. So that is, let me tell you about it. You know, y'all, I'm going to take a nap after this, if I'm being honest. This is the story of two different women. So it's part of the story takes place in 1965. We're in Round Hill, North Carolina. We meet Ellie. Ellie is a young woman. She's raised to be a certain type of, you know, sort of proper Southern lady. She goes to school and college, already engaged to this banker. Like, her life is set out before her. But she's made a choice. She's chosen to spend her summers as a volunteer registering Black voters. And as this sort of comes out, as she sort of fights for this ideal and this thing she really believes in, her family turns on her, her parents scorn her, her neighbors scorn her, and she learns really about her neighborhood and the people that she has been, you know, surrounded by for her whole entire life. And then we're also in 2010, we meet Kayla, who is an architect who has built a home in Round Hill, North Carolina for her and her husband. But her husband has mysteriously, I can't remember if it's, not mysteriously, accidentally, that's the word I'm looking for, died. And so it's just her and her young daughter. And as she moves in, it says, here it goes, the woods and lake behind the property are reputed to be haunted, and the new home has been targeted by vandals, leaving threatening notes. And Kayla's neighbor, Ellie, who we've met in 1965, is harboring long buried secrets about the dark history of the land where her house was built. I think I love those two time period things. Everything comes together. It always makes me so happy when it all wraps up beautifully together. I hope that one or more, I think there's 8 books here. I hope they all wind up on your TBR. I hope that you go and you order one right now. So here is that stack of amazing books that are out or just about to come out that you can get your hands on very, very soon. I'm going to put them down because that's a heavy stack of books, y'all. If you are a return subscriber, I could not do this without you. Thank you so, so much. I really, really appreciate it. If you are new to my channel, thank you. Subscribe, click buttons, hit likes. It really does make this so much more wonderful for me. I really could not do it without y'all. As always, I encourage you to read globally, shop locally, and until next time, I wish you happy reading. Bye, everybody.